Hello, YouTubers. Now, it looks like Paul is using a 4-year-old child's toy here, doesn't he? Here, let me get the chair out of the way briefly, and then I'll put it back for you. Now, let me come around and get a better shot of this device here. See, it's a little scooter, and it's a 4-wheeled scooter, and it's got like this little steering thing, and he's got hand brakes and things, and here's the culprit right here. Oh, and we've got a phone call, so we'll see here.
Bye.
Left side or west side?
If I'm going south, they're on the left.
Yeah, because it's an even numbered building.
And it's the first traffic light. I would turn left.
Yeah, it's an even numbered building.
Park behind the building.
And in Delaware County, the even numbers are on north-south roads are on the west side. In Franklin County, the even numbers on north-south roads are on the east side. Paul just got a phone call from his orthopedist office. One of the minions. Apparently, this little scooter for his knee, the handlebar folds down. You know, put that thing back up there for him, Paul. Yeah, that's going to be helpful when we transport Paul down to the orthopedic guy next Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock, which is a great time for an appointment as far as I'm concerned.
And then it'll fold down.
Yeah. Why don't you just get that back in position, because I know you're going to want to be using that. Yeah.
I just want to show you.
Oh, no, right. Well, I was just, right. I don't know if I'd feel more foolish using that or just suffering. Would I rather feel foolish or would I rather suffer? I guess that depends on the amount of suffering, doesn't it?
I said it'll keep me off the factor for 6 weeks. I'm not allowed to step on it for 6 weeks. According to Brian. So.
The scene of the crime. It's an avulsion fracture of the right ankle, and what is he pulled off a little chip of the tip of the tibula, or the fibula rather.
Right
there. Yeah, the
touch it, it hurts like shit.
Yeah, well, that does happen. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, one of the, at least you're going to get a chance to let this heal properly. I never had a chance to let any of these things I had to heal properly, and so I had repeated problems for many, many years, over and over and over and over again. But if you get a chance to let it heal properly, then maybe you won't have that sort of long-term problem afterwards. We also have crutches backup. I think those were my crutches, weren't they?
I think so.
Yeah, no, I had these when I was a anesthesia resident, and I sprained my ankle, and I think what happened was it was my left ankle, and I couldn't I couldn't do the standard shift and clutch with it. So I walked. It was about 1.75 miles from the
north hospital?
No, my North 4th Street house down to the hospital, and I would do it on crutches. It didn't take me all that long, as you might imagine, as you might think it would take it. Because it was in relatively good weather. It was in the summertime, and probably, I'm going to say maybe just a little over an hour and 15 minutes, maybe. Yeah. And then, of course, I had to work using them. Yeah. But you could sort of brace yourself against stuff, and it's easy to intubate on crutches. All you got to do is just prop them to your arm, and it doesn't really affect the use of your arm. Now for the full story. Well, as Garrison Keeler would say on Prairie Home Companion, it's been a very full last few days here on Alum Creek at the Island of Peace. And of course, you know, the chief activity was dealing with Paul's little ankle, avulsion ankle fracture. And I think you should hear the full story from the man himself.
I got up, but I kept falling asleep and stuff, and I said, hell with it, and I went and took a nap for a while. I got up again when I was done with this so-called nap, and I thought, well, I'll go check, see if the mail's there.
Unbeknownst to him, I had already gotten the mail.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that.
Well, no, he didn't know that, and I should have said, but I saw him gazing into the trash can, and I thought, oh, he's got to see the mail from today, because most of it was just crap.
So I took off.
I was wrong.
I took off to go check on the mail.
God bless you.
And I fell down and landed on my ankle. And I couldn't get back up.
He was right by the edge of the road too. You almost got ran over.
And this woman pulled into the driveway and she got out.
Thank God he wasn't.
And she said, I'm going to call the EMS to help you get up.
Oh, she couldn't. Oh, I'm sorry.
I said, oh, please don't. I said, give me a minute. I said, I'll get up. Honestly, I will get up.
Well, as it turned out.
I mean, I was even going to go on my hands and knees over to her car and pull up on the side of her car.
Why didn't she just come get me?
I don't know.
Was she too contrary?
I told her you were in the house.
Was she too contrary?
Oh, she was just punching away on her phone. So next thing I knew, all these squads were showing up.
And I didn't hear a thing. And Paul said there were sirens.
Right.
I heard Zippo in here, and I didn't have the headphones on. I mean, this house can be very soundproof sometimes.
The ambulance was running sirens. The cops were running sirens.
2 sheriffs.
Fire trucks were running sirens.
You know, the daggone things. When these things are down on Polaris Parkway or over here on Powell Road or down here,
we can hear them.
We can hear them, but when they're right at the end of your driveway,
forget it.
That happened a few years back when that guy was fleeing from. He was fleeing the Genoa Township and Westerville police, and he ended up in our yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy with the little red sports.
Yeah, and then the Westerville police chief came out to arrest this man personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, with his son, with his 15-year-old son. It was one of these sort of like follow your parent around to work days.
Here, boy, let me show you what Dad does for a living.
So he went out and made this collar after, of course, 3 other agencies had chased this guy down and, essentially, they had him handcuffed and trussed up on top of the trunk of his car. I didn't hear a thing. Now, this was like 7:30 in the morning. It can be, it can be really anomalous in how
Oh yeah, the guy
sounds look
shot
out
off.
here.
The guy shot off in the driveway, and he thought he could loop around.
Yeah, he thought
and hide.
there was another way he could get out of here or hide.
He thought he was going to be able to hide up against some trees and stuff. Well, there was a big rutty area,
Yes.
and his car got hung up and stuck.
But we digress, as often happens here.
It didn't work for the guy.
So the sheriff comes up. You know, I finally, after Paul had gone out, and a lot of times he'll go out to get the mail, and then he'll sort of stand in the driveway and look at the trees, or sometimes he goes up to the corner house to walk around, and I didn't think much of it until it had gotten sort of getting on to a half hour, well, between 25 and a half minutes and a half hour that he'd been gone. I thought, well, I hope he's not lying down on the road, you know, run over, which is what nearly happened. And I opened the door and I see all this, and the sheriff's walking up the driveway, and I introduced myself. I said, I'm the landowner, and he says, you live with this man? I said, yeah. He says, can you talk some sense into him? You know, so I went down and I got into the ambulance, and I said, Paul, you got to go to the hospital, period. That's it. Right now. Go to the hospital and just be done with it. And so they whipped him off, and then you went to some urgent care doc in a box, right?
Yeah. Ohio Health.
Yeah, well, that's really kind of more than a doc in a box. It is almost kind of like a small, very small standalone hospital.
Right. They call it a medical campus.
Yeah, medical campus. Give me a break.
Anyway.
And then they eventually end up
took
St.
me
Anne's.
to another hospital.
St. Anne's, Mount Carmel. A
Right.
very good hospital, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, for that matter, so is Ohio Health. But
Well, you're going to have to go to a hospital somewhere and spend the night. Because you did break your leg.
well,
And I'm like, what?
well, you pull a little tiny piece of your tip of your fibula off, which can be quite painful and debilitating if it's not allowed to heal properly. But sometimes you keep. Sometimes some people don't have the time to let things heal properly, and they have to just keep doing what they have to do what they have to do. That's called being a pro. Now, Paul's a pro, but it turns out that your work is going to be very tolerant of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're apparently going to say.
Yeah. I have like a disability thing, and I'll get a check once a week for the 6 weeks that I have to be laid up.
No. Too bad you have to get it that way.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure you'd far rather be, swinging into action every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what it said right.
Well, that's what you do. I mean, you actually like your job. I mean, it's a good job.
I said, well, if I'm getting out there, I said, can I go back to work tomorrow? And he said, no way. Don't you even think about that for 6 weeks.
Now, as a physician,
I'm like, what?
as a practical physician who has experienced and probably has had the same condition a few times myself, admittedly, the few extra times because I never let it heal properly the first time, you can carry on these things if you can tolerate the pain.
I gotta go.
Paul's got to go to you got to go to get on your scooter here. Okay. You could almost wheel that chair into the can.
Oh, we'll go through the door.
Maybe I'll just get you a coffee can.
It vaguely fits through here.
What? Oh.
These.
Oh, no, right, no. Well, I'm being facetious, as I often am. Our new life.
I'm back.
Now, as I recall, in our tale of woe and lament, your tale of woe and lament, actually, well, perhaps our tale of woe and lament. So they took you down to this urgent care thing, and
Right.
then they ultimately decided to take you down to St. Anne's, and then I guess the orthopedic guy came in and saw you this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said if I can get
Oh, I'm sorry.
physical therapist in here.
Look, he's got a tag. Look, he's got like his tag. Look.
Yeah, if they scan it, they know what kind of drugs and everything to give me or not.
It's like he's going to a concert or something at Ohio Stadium. Or maybe he has permission to buy tickets to a sports event or a concert.
All my personal information is
That's
these lines right here.
This is the new era, guys.
Because they have a scanner and they'll scan your wristband.
Coming to a government soon near you.
And they know what to give you and everything.
Yes, they know what to give you.
I even told them. I have a list in my wallet.
I think they were just probably using that as a truth check.
Oh, it is. Wow, you're really prepped.
Oh, you don't take that much. It's just, it's just atenolol and amlodipine and lisinopril. Do you still take lisinopril? Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
but I had the grams and everything down.
Yeah, and then you've got that thing for your prostate, which ruins everything.
And how many times a day I take it. So,
Well, my own read on this is that, given that his blood pressure was 80/50 when the squad first took it, is the fact since he has stopped smoking for what in Europe was now about almost 3 weeks now, right?
yeah, Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh, Thanksgiving weekend. Well, hell, a month essentially.
Right.
He doesn't have that nicotine keeping his blood pressure up anymore, and so what was very reasonable therapy in the face of the nicotine supported blood pressure now might be just a hair too much, but that's for his medical flea to determine.
Right. I'll have to get a hold of Mac in here and see what she thinks.
Well, or what sort of yes, you need to get hold of your medical flea to see what she thinks. Yes. Trying to stay ethical and professional here,
Yeah.
as opposed to dealing with the truth. And we all know we like to speak the truth in peace and love here on the Joe Kersey channel. Well, it could be, and his job's being very understanding. I wouldn't mention that, but I'll tell you, that's great.
Yeah.
No, good.
I mean,
Well, you're a good worker.
they called me and told me.
They don't want to lose your services, obviously, because it would be almost impossible to replace you with somebody that's as competent as you are.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do for the next 6 weeks.
Well,
I mean, yeah. I'll admit, the place is still ripped apart.
Oh, I was thinking of
in
something
the middle of
else.
construction. I mean, they are still redoing the whole first floor. They are.
Oh, I know they are. Yes, I know. It's, as Harold Macmillan said, what really determined the course of your prime ministership? And he said, events.
I mean, they've got to get the electricians back in there and finish off the lights in the dining room ceiling.
Well,
And get them in where they're supposed to.
they need to just
I mean, they got
hang
the
up
big
some.
crane.
They need to hang up some of these. Get some shop lights here. Get some shop lights. That That'd save the owners some money.
Yeah, well, they're doing not shop lights.
Oh, a little fancier stuff.
Yeah.
Are going to use LEDs to save money?
I think, yeah.
After the sunk cost, they ultimately will save a lot of money, and they will. on
Right.
those, yeah.
Because the bulbs last forever.
Well, I've thought about getting some LEDs here, but just like this, like between $14 and $20 a bulb. On the other hand, if the thing's basically going to last indefinitely.
Yeah.
But
This
I get
week-
thinking, we're not going to last indefinitely.
This way we won't have to keep going and running a 2.5-story step ladder to go up and change a light.
Oh, and along those lines, I'm going to make another video telling you
They're
something
gonna be
about that
making-
too.
Because you're going to be, get them to be down lower. So if you do need to do something with them, you got them
a
in
way that
reach.
they can sort of, I've seen these things, it's like on a they can lower them,
Yeah, well, they're not going to do
No,
that.
okay. No, I'm just saying,
They're going to be a fixed link.
well, it's not like you're going to paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel here, you're just changing a light bulb. Or restore the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Well, here we are.
I've got the new floor going, and they can get that crane out of there sometime if these electrician guys come back and finish their job.
As they said in the bridge over the River Kwai, at some point perhaps you might be fit for light duties. They could, you man the desk sometimes, don't you?
Oh, really? I just
Oh.
never.
Well, you talk like you do.
The guest goes and wants to check out, turn in their keys. I'll take them.
Oh, I
If
thought
they want information about how to get somewhere, I tell them where to go.
I perhaps misunderstood your role. Well, they need to train you to do that so you can do that. No, come on, you want to promote employee betterment. Yeah. That's just a suggestion. This man's very valuable. He's got a hell of a work ethic. Well, I think on this note, at least for this particular video, we're going to say bye-bye YouTubers, and now I've got other things to say about other matters in another video. All right. Anything to say, Paul?
No. I've had my fun for the week.
Yeah, I bet so. I'm kidding. All righty. Bye-bye.